It on. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, colleagues. It is a hot and lovely Wednesday. This is a regular meeting of the Los Angeles City Board of Public Works for Wednesday, September 29, 2021. Good morning, Dr. Campos.
Good morning, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing roll call and quorum for today. We have President Good, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioner Villegas. Mr. President, you do have a quorum. For the record, Commissioner Caloz is out on vacation this morning and will not be joining the meeting. Mr. President, we do have one public comment that was received through Google form. That public comment was circulated to all commissioners and will be entered into the record. At this time, we have no commentary for the Neighborhood Council comment section, and we have no members of the general public that are joining us for any commentary this morning for any of the items for today's agenda. We're also joined by our city attorney, Mr. Ted Jordan, with a fabulous background as always. That is it. All the honorees are on the line for you.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. So general public comment will be closed officially. Mr. Jordan, where's that shot from?
It was a field just outside of Stonehenge in England.
That's very cool. For those who don't know, you always know Mr. Jordan's background was taken by himself. Which is always very impressive.
Oh wow, that is impressive.
He takes them all. That's right. We're going to start contracting with him.
Yeah.
Get him to take pictures for all of us. Is that okay, Mr. Jordan?
You know, Councilman Tom LaBonge, when he was on that city council, he actually put out a calendar every year, which was quite legendary among his many talents.
That's right. Well, I know we would have to, go through a competitive bidding process to give you the work. So we'll
Yeah, I don't think you can afford me.
I believe that. That's true in general. All right. So, good morning. And that is a great picture. So let's start off, folks, taking care of the minutes from Friday, September 10, 2021. I will motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Any concerns, Villegas or Garcia? All right, hearing none. Hearing none, the minutes from Friday, September 10, 2021 are approved and adopted forthwith. With that, it is an exciting meeting because this is the meeting in which we will recognize and celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month, which started on September 15th and goes to October 15th. As many of you know, Vice President Alda Garcia and Commissioner Teresa Villegas done incredible outreach work, working with our commissioners, working with the Latinx community, and really elevating and uplifting the work of the Latinx community and the achievements of the Latinx community in the city of Los Angeles, and working to champion and advocate on issues on their behalf. So with that, I will hand it over the proverbial mic to Commissioner Teresa Villegas, who will be leading our virtual ceremony.
Thank you, President Good, and welcome everyone. September 29th to our meeting. It's a special one, seeing that we're going to be celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month and recognizing the achievements just of a few outstanding employees from the Department of Public Works. There are so many that do wonderful work, but today is just about a few of them. And we do want to commend the rest of our Latino and Latina employees that work for the Department of Public Works. We would not be able to keep our doors open and keep the residents of Los Angeles healthy and safe during this pandemic. So thank you to everyone. Each year, as President Good mentioned, September 15th through October 15th, we celebrate the history and cultures of Latino Americans whose ancestors came from Mexico, Spain, the Caribbean, Central and South America. It's an important time to honor and recognize the contributions of Latino Americans, both past and present, who have made a positive impact on society and enriched our nation. This year's theme is Esperanza, a celebration of Hispanic heritage and hope. Esperanza means hope. And we invite you just to reflect and on how far we've come and are hopeful for all that we will accomplish in the future. It's also a reminder that we are stronger together. While Latinos have always valued the importance of family and community, the past year and a half have truly shown us that we can achieve when we work together. We can achieve more. Reports show that Latinos in the United States have faced disproportionate health and economic impact from the pandemic. Despite these hardships, we continue to put our best foot forward and remain hopeful for the future. The men and women of the Department of Public Works, who we honor today, stepped up in many ways to show up to work with what we call in Spanish, con ganas, with grit. We deliver core services and make our neighborhoods safer, cleaner, and more livable for all Angelenos. Amid a global pandemic, you continue to keep the city of Los Angeles running, and we are proud of all of your hard work. Today is an opportunity to reflect and celebrate how your success is forging a path for the next generation of Latinos, much like those who did before us. As one of 2 Latinas currently serving on the board, I am proud of the progress we have made. Today, Latinos represent 39% of our workforce in the bureaus and participate at every level, including leadership positions. The men and women who you will hear from more today are part of the more than 5,000 hardworking and dedicated public works employees who are delivering vital services to our communities and improving the quality of life for millions of Angelenos. Today, the board is honored to recognize a few of the outstanding Latino men and women from our invaluable contributions to the Department of Public Works and to the City of Los Angeles. At this moment, I'd like to turn as President Good says, the proverbial mic to our Pro Tem Commissioner Mike Davis to introduce our first honoree.
Greetings, and thank you so very much for allowing me to be included in this spectacular program. I first would be remiss without thanking the leadership within the Board of Public Works for the Commissioner Teresa Villegas, as well as Vice President Aura Garcia, both of whom have done outstanding jobs each time they make this presentation. To that end, it is really a privilege for me to present the honoree from the Bureau of Contract Administration, Mr. Art Gomez, who is one of our construction inspectors. Art Gomez has served the Bureau of Contract Administration for 17 years and has consistently demonstrated an exceptional level of professionalism and determination throughout his career. Currently, he is a construction inspector and plays a vital role in the monumental 6th Street Viaduct replacement project. His role is to help with the concrete placement at the arches, which have become a focal point on the project. Art has gone above and beyond to strengthen his inspection skill set by enrolling and participating in several construction training programs. Among many other certifications, he obtained his certification for post-tension concrete grouting and has been a true asset with the grouting operations on the 6th Street Viaduct project. Art, known for his ability to approach tasks with a positive attitude and a focus on quality, he always makes himself available to help with last-minute schedule changes and is the Team 6, which is the unofficial name of the 6th Street Viaduct Inspection Team Booster. He works tirelessly on subcontractor approvals and processing street lighting start notices, burn tests, and DWP tie-ins. Art has the heart and desire to excel in anything and is considered a great asset not only for inspection, but also for the General Services Division. The Bureau of Contract Administration considers itself and the city lucky to have such an exemplary employee. Ladies and gentlemen, Art. Oh, no, next we'll have the Chief Construction Inspector, Bureau of Contract Administration, Representative Angela Martinez, who will give remarks about Art.
Good morning, everyone. What an amazing cast of people I'm looking at on my screen. It truly is an honor to be here. And thank you, Commissioner Davis. I don't know what more to say about Art, except that every time somebody says something about the city of Los Angeles, I immediately think of you, Art, not only because of your love of the city of Los Angeles and working as a construction inspector for BCA, but you love the Dodgers. How can you not be a fan of Los Angeles without loving the Dodgers? And I have to say, some of those training classes that Mr. Davis, Commissioner Davis mentioned, I was in those classes with Art, and I saw his commitment, his attentiveness, and his love for construction shine through his eyes. And I'm proud to say he did better on the tests than I did. And that makes me proud to know that somebody like that is working here tirelessly for the city of Los Angeles. So not only am I grateful to see how much Art has blossomed as an inspector, being a public servant, but as a man also. It truly is an honor to recognize you here today, Art, and it truly is an honor to work with you, and you really deserve this recognition, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
And with that, I think we'll have remarks from Art. Is that correct, Commissioner Villegas? Art, you're the man of the hour for contract administration.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Good morning, President Good, Vice President Garcia, commissioners, and everyone else here in attendance. I wrote something up. I shouldn't really have to because I'm extremely thankful, honored beyond words for this recognition. Special thanks to my entire BCA family, our director, Mr. John L. Reamer, our chiefs, Angela Martinez and Sefi Wiles, that played important role models for me throughout the years. There's too many to mention. Our other sections in our bureau, our Office of Contract Compliance, our Business Inclusion section, now CORE, Office of Wage Standards, our administration. I learn something from everybody every day, and that's what keeps me going. Just thank you guys for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations again, Art. What a recognition, and I know that we see you pretty regularly at our meetings, but your work is definitely recognized by all. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you. At this time, I think next we will turn this over to our President Good. Actually, I think I messed up.
Garcia?
Garcia, yes, Garcia. My apologies. I'm scrolling through our program and I just scrolled it too fast. Yes. Vice President Aura Garcia, please introduce your honoree. Thank you.
Thank you. Art, it is a pleasure to work with you. Just before we leave, Art, and then there's going to be comments at the end, so stay with us, Art. But you are definitely a symbol of our city, and I see it every day. So thank you, Art, for all your work. Thank you, everyone. I'm Aura Garcia, Vice President of the Board of Public Works, and it is an honor for me today to present our nominee from the Bureau of Engineering. Commissioner Colosa is not here today, and as a backup, I get the honor to do that. So, yay! Today, as for the Bureau of Engineering, we have somebody very special. Her name is Marina Quiñones. By the way, Marina, I've told you this before. I love your name, and we share a name. So I just have to say, my name is Marina as well. So every time I see you, I'm always very, very attentive to you. Marina Quiñones is a senior architect with the Bureau of Engineering. Marina Quiñones has served the Bureau of Engineering for 18 years, starting out as a student intern for 2 years. After completing her bachelor's degree at Woodbury University and a master's degree in architecture at UCLA, she was hired as an associate for the architectural division in 2005. Marina has been involved in the design and construction of various recreation centers, but most notably as the design architect for the Woodland Hills Recreation Center, which was achieved in LEED Gold certification. Most recently, Marina returned to the architectural division at the end of 2020 to oversee the homeless program established by her retiree, Alan Kawaguchi. She has been an integral part in the development of phase 1 of a bridge home and phase 2 of tiny home villages, as she helped establish the basis of design and development procedures to complete projects for advertising and awarding. The homeless program continues to evolve with the new approach to safe sleep, safe park, and safe RV parking locations throughout the city. With these projects currently in development, Marina and her staff are establishing guidelines and procedures to be able to address various homeless demographics. Marina has been able to address the multifaceted approach needed in our diverse city. She has forged relationships in various departments, both in our city and in state agency, and has demonstrated great pride in her teamwork she has been able to build throughout her professional career. She has established a reputation among her colleagues as an outstanding architect and a collegial manager who creates a strong team ethic. She is also known for her hearty laugh, which can be heard across the Public Works building. We haven't heard that one, Marina. The recognition honors Marina's contributions to the Bureau of Engineering and the city, as well as being a woman who is building LA and role model in the Latino community. Thank you, Marina, and for that we nominate you and give you the Latino Heritage Award for the year of 2021. Okay. Mr. Gary Lee Moore, would you like to say some words on behalf of the department?
Yes, thank you very much, Commissioner Garcia, and thank you for the board for taking the time to recognize these outstanding employees. It's absolutely very important to recognize these heroes in the department. And I'm joined this morning with our Chief Deputy City Engineer, Deborah Weintraub, who had, when she started her career with the city, had the pleasure of overseeing the architectural division where Marina started her career. Marina, you're just exceptional. I think all of us would say, all the polls, the #1 item is homelessness in Los Angeles, the #1 challenge. And you're in the front and center of delivering shelter to those in the most need, and interfacing with the mayor's office, with all the council districts, with the city administrative officer, with the chief legislative analyst's office, with the Board of Public Works, with all your colleagues in the Bureau. Everybody loves going to Marina because there's a sense of calm, and it's so much appreciated because everybody's doing their best, but it's got to get down on a piece of paper and it's got to get built. And Marina, you lead that effort. And we were just this morning at the groundbreaking of our 10th tiny home village, and under your leadership. And so we're just so proud to call you a colleague, and we just thank you. And you have a terrific family. I've had the opportunity to meet, and a special, I hope they're watching or you're recording for them, and we'll share this because it's well deserved. Congratulations.
Deborah, do you want to say some words?
Thank you. So Marina started just shortly after I started, so she's been a colleague of mine for almost my entire career, and it doesn't get any better. I really enjoy working with Marina. We face a lot of hurdles every day, and her calm, her sense of ability to resolve problems is just exceptional. And since I'm consider myself an honorary Latina, having grown up partially in Latin America, I'm thrilled to be able to give you this award recognition today. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Marina, do you want to say some words?
I do. Thank you so much. I'm honored and humbled to receive this recognition and represent the Latino professionals in the Bureau of Engineering. We Latinos are a diverse crowd, representing 21 countries. Mine is El Salvador. I was born there, and I came to America when I was 3 years old. This country has given Latinos the space to flourish into the dreams that we dare to dream. And being an architect was my dream. I'm blessed that I get to live it out every day at the Bureau of Engineering among so many hardworking and dedicated individuals, especially those who have gone before me. Great mentors such as Mahmoud Groomzadeh and Alan Kawaguchi. They blazed the trail for our current efforts to house the unhoused Angelinos in our community. And they established a foundation for a program I now get to lead. I'd like to thank everyone involved in the homeless program. It truly takes a village to build a village. And I have the best team of architects and engineers around. Eric, Wendy, Marcelino, Luz, Adrian, Nathan, Joyce, Jacob, and Thelma, our management analysts. I couldn't do it without them. I'd also like to thank Stephen Pierce, Jose Fuentes, and Deborah, who are my current mentors. I have the privilege of learning from them on a daily basis. And Gary Lee Moore, our excited and energetic leader. It's always great to be around Gary. Commissioner Colosa for her consistent support. And you, the Board of Public Works, thank you for recognizing that Los Angeles truly is a melting pot of culture and diversity. And it merits a celebration such as this. I will close with a statement from Supreme Justice Sonia Sotomayor. She stated, the Latina in me is an ember that blazes forever. We all have an ember. Part of my ember is my family, my husband, my daughter. They keep me alive. They show me love and grace every day. And I hope that, celebrating culture and diversity will keep all of our embers blazing. And I just really thank you for this morning.
Wow. Well, thank you, Marina. And not only are you everything else, but you're such a great speaker as well. So,
thank you.
And by the way, you must have started when you were like 5. You look so young.
Thank you. I'll take that.
Thank you, Bureau of Engineering, for letting me and have the honor to present the nominee.
Congratulations again, Marina. What a beautiful tribute to you and beautiful words. With that, I'm going to hand it over to President Good, who will introduce Bureau of Sanitation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Thank you, Vice President Garcia. I have to just say a couple of quick things. One, in case anything gets lost with anybody, I want to repeat something about our first honoree, Art Gomez, construction inspector for the 6th Street Viaduct Replacement Project, focused on concrete replacement in the arches. I want everybody to think about what that means. This is a little bridge we're all going to be crossing every now and then. Just a few people looking at pictures of this bridge, and this man is in charge of saying yay or nay. That is a monumentally important endeavor, and we're very proud of the work you're doing, Mr. Gomez, and thank you, and it's a pleasure to honor you. It's amazing. Then you have, the tip of the spear in the greatest humanitarian crisis we have faced in this city and arguably in this country. Alan was great. Mahmoud, we all love Mahmoud, no doubt about it. I know both of them enough to know that they'd say, frankly, the brains and the brawn behind that joint was Marina. I was there with you this morning. You had that electric smile going from 8:30 to 9:30, I don't know. It was just, the 10th tiny home village that you have led the charge on addressing, and there will be 93 individuals who right now have to think about where they're going to put their head at night, who when that thing gets built, that will be a different piece of math for them. And that is something that you and your family should always be proud of. So, Teresa, way to kick it off with a couple of giants. So, speaking thereof, it is absolutely my pleasure to talk about another seemingly young giant who somehow has been here for a couple of decades, which boggles my mind, Gabe. But it is my pleasure to recognize someone also very much at the tip of the spear of really addressing existential crises that happen every single day on virtually every corner of our street. Gabe Miranda is an exemplary public servant who's proven himself to be hardworking and dedicated. And I mean, that is a poor statement. I can call Gabe literally any hour of the day, 365, and even if he's on vacation, which breaks my heart to say that, Gabe. Gabe will call me back within minutes. He's amazing. Again, somehow he's been here for 20 plus years. I don't actually think I believe that. Working his entire time with LA Sanitation and Environment. Gabe, I don't believe you're not in your 20s, so you must have started at age 6 at sanitation. I think Pepe would invariably agree. Pepe was holding his hand, walking around the yard, showing him how to do this stuff. But he began his career in 2001. Spent 13 years with Solid Resources Collection Division. I think you started off, Gabe, as an RCTO, right?
That's correct, President Good.
Driving a rig, making it happen for residents in the city of Los Angeles. Did that for 13 years. In 2016, leadership, including Pepe, recognized Gabe's just talent and appointed him to oversee multiple programs developed out of Mayor Garcetti's Executive Directive 8. That's the Clean Streets Initiative, and he has been both the supervisor. If you're not, well, you're not talking because I'm talking. Please go on mute, folks. Gabe has been a supervisor and solid resources superintendent since then. The very important programs that he's overseen have helped to comprise what has become the Livability Services Division, which includes the Clean Stat Street Indexing System, citywide recycling or receptacle collection program, and the citywide illegal dumping program, which I've had the ongoing pleasure of working very closely and directly with Gabe as well as with Pepe. Rounding out that little portfolio of work are the newly created mobile hygiene unit program and the revamped homeless encampment comprehensive cleaning program, the Care Plus program, cleaning and rapid engagement that is so vital from a public health, public safety perspective for all Angelinos. Gabe is now the division manager for the Livability Services Division, which consists of over 300 employees, and he oversees all these programs. Gabe is of Mexican and Canadian American descent. To his credit, he's a Lakers fan. To his discredit, he's a Chargers fan. And he also likes the Kings. So it's only during Chargers game that I say nasty things to him or about him anytime I get a chance. Gabe, it is a real pleasure working with you always, and your professionalism, your acumen, the sharpness of your intellect and your wit make you a real just enjoyable colleague and a trusted colleague to work with. I'm sure I have a feeling we'll all be asking you for a job one day. So I am going to hand it over to another one of my personal favorite Latinx sheroes, the executive director of the Bureau of Sanitation, mi comadre, Barbara Romero.
Thank you, commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here in this time to honor, to celebrate all the accomplishments and all the potential, actually. And like you said, Teresa, it's bright and hopeful. Like you said, your theme, that to be able to acknowledge folks that do this work day in and day out without asking for recognition. And Gabe is one of those people. Gabe, I've had the privilege to work with Gabe before I came to sanitation. And like Commissioner Good said, he's capable, he's hardworking, and he's committed to his work, no matter what task you give him, you throw at him, as Pepe would probably say. Anything you throw at him, he'll figure it out. And he'll do it with grace. And as you also said, he's dealing with some of the most complex issues. And what's really, with that, as division manager, I don't know if you said this, Greg, but he started from something that there was no division to now he's leading over, he's in charge of over 300 people. And one of the things that makes Gabe really special is his respectful demeanor, that he is responsive no matter who you are. If you are, your title doesn't matter. And whatever the issue, he takes such diligence to getting an answer back and responding to whatever that is. So that's very commendable, and it shows that he treats that respectfulness, that how he treats people, is why he's a very good leader. That people then, that they give that back to him. But what's most impressive about Gabe is that no matter how complex the issues, how stressful, how intense they are, you don't see him sweat. And, that is a true sign of, he's one of those quiet leaders, with a lot of power, and that power is, as you said, Greg, his brains. He has a lot to contribute. He has a lot to share. And because of that, he is trusted by many. And I just am looking forward to continue working with him and to see, the possibilities. And, when we talk about, government does work for people, this is an individual who epitomizes that he is here to be of service. And I know he's probably shy and wondering why we're doing this. And this is exactly why I wanted to make sure we celebrated you, Gabe, because you do this work because you care, not for the recognition. So, but I know that I couldn't have introduce him without having Pepe say a couple words about him, because Pepe knew him when he was a kid. Because he's not a kid anymore. So thank you, and thank you for allowing me to help celebrate Gabe today. Pepe?
Pepe, bring it home.
So I promised Gabe I would not embarrass him. So I will try to stay within the bookends of the parameters he placed on me. So if anybody doesn't know, he's a second generation manager. Comes from so his father and I looked that old 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But he's a second generation. So Mr. Miranda Sr., Sal Miranda Sr., and I grew up together. So he has a lot of ethics. He has work ethics unlike anybody probably in his age bracket. He's an inspiration. He's hardworking. And President Good, in the Latin, and Commissioner Villegas, in the Latin culture, he would be considered joven, young man. Where you and I, Commissioner Davis and President Good, would be don status, over the hill on the other side. So he is a young man who has, and his responsibilities today and the way he manages the workforce that he leads is an inspiration for anybody to accomplish at such a young age. The benefit to the city and the department as a whole, and as a leader of the city, is that unfortunately he's got another 20 years to put in before he can walk out the door. So his tenure, you and I will be sitting playing chess in a retirement home, President Good, while he's still calling the shots where you're sitting, or where everybody with that amount of power and leadership qualities. And not that he flexes the power, he has, like Barbara said, he does not flex his ability to, but he inspires others to perform. And I've always mentioned to him is that the definition of supervision or leadership is how do you get work done through others. And at his young age, he's mastered that ability to get work, the job done, and the need addressed in a prompt and timely manner. So, and yes, President Good, I'm going to throw this one in there, Gabe, hope you forgive me, but his mom dropped him off right after graduation. I tease him because he had, imagine a teenager graduating in June and thinking he's going to take a year off just to find himself. And the van door slides open and he comes out with bedhead and a little lunch pail and ready to go to work. So I remember him walking in through the front doors, as green as can be, straight out of high school, and has accomplished in 20 years what his father took and me 40 years to accomplish, and he's got many, many more to put in. So inspiration and leadership. Thank you, Gabe. And as a man, as a Latino, hey, si se puede.
Good morning, and thank you for the kind words, President Good and Barbara, as well as Pepe. Good morning, Vice President Garcia, commissioners. Definitely want to thank all of you and the great leadership of LA Sanitation and Environment, and specifically our General Manager and Director, Barbara Romero. As she mentioned, I had an opportunity to work with her for many years in her old capacity, and it's been great working for her as our General Manager of Sanitation. As mentioned, I did just reach my 20-year anniversary of employment with the City of Los Angeles, and fortunately for me, they've all been with LA Sanitation. It's a great organization to work for, very diverse, great management labor relations. I've worked for many that have taught me a lot to make me who I am today, but I wouldn't be here without the field staff, without the division that I oversee as division manager. As Barbara mentioned, we are over 300 now in the division, with quite a few more positions possibly in the budget for this fiscal year. But the men and women that do the critical work and the services that we provide in our division with the Care and Care Plus program, with our mobile hygiene unit program, providing necessary bathrooms and showers to the unhoused, and doing this throughout the past year and a half during a global pandemic. Our folks have been at work each day on the front lines doing this very critical work and maintaining our public spaces and the cleanliness of our right-of-way. So definitely want to honor and mention them, but I am very appreciative of this mention, and thank you all.
Thank you, Gabe. Thank you so much. And thank you, Barbara, and thank you, Pepe. That was fun. And I'll hand it back over to Commissioner Villegas. Taking, or who's up?
Yeah, thank
Sorry.
you.
Ahora, Vice President.
Yeah.
Thank you, President Good. I know we didn't do much practicing, you guys, and you guys can tell, but we're doing this. Gabe, and I just want to say, I must have missed the city program when I was young, because you guys started 20 years ago. What are you talking about? You look so young too, Gabe. And I just have to say, just that thus far, we've had Art, Marina, and Gabe, 3 big superstars already. So I know that the rest are exactly at that level. You know, we saw Art and we're like, oh my God, Art. And then we saw Marina, we're like, oh wow, of course, Marina. And now we see Gabe and we're like, yes, Gabe. Gabe. So I mean, it just continues. That's what I want to say. Just all these great people here. So Gabe, congratulations. You well deserved. You are a professional. You are well mannered, and your work, your ethics really comes out when you speak to anybody that you speak to, and it just really you are a example for a lot of young folks. And you know, Pepe said that they dropped you off, you know, at the Van Green and so forth. But you know what? I know that didn't really happen. But I just have to say that's what made you be who you are at this time. And Pepe said something very important too, that for your age bracket, you are probably one of the most very responsible leader in within your group of folks. And so it's really good to see that here, and really good that we have you. So thank you for being here, and we look forward to one day you being executive director of the LA SAN. So there you go. Not that we're putting anything on you, but you know, there you go. All right. Well, it is my honor now to introduce our next nominee. Our next nominee is from the Bureau of Street Lighting, and his name is Alfonso Reyes. Alfonso Reyes is a street lighting electrician supervisor. Where are you, Alfonso? Do we see you? I see him being online, but I don't see him being there you go.
There he is.
Oh, wait. All right. The Bureau of Street Lighting's Alfonso Reyes has overcome many barriers and embodied perseverance to get where he is today. Alfonso moved to the United States from Mexico City when he was 17 years old. He took ESL, or English as a Second Language, classes at night to learn English and to help him better assimilate to his new home. He worked various jobs upon his arrival to the U.S. until he was fortunate enough to join the IBEW Local 11 Union when he was 19 years old. Alfonso gained vast experience there working on traffic and street lights for contractors and installing conduits, while also attending ITT Technical Institute to obtain certifications. In 2000, Alfonso began his career with the City of Los Angeles through the Hiring Hall. For those who don't know what that is a union-operated placement office where registered applicants are referred in rotation to jobs. After 4 years, he left the Hiring Hall position and then came back to the city in 2008 when he was hired by the Bureau of Street Lighting as an assistant street lighting electrician. Through the hard work and determination, Alfonso worked his way up to street lighting electrician, and the following year in 2018 became a street lighting electrician supervisor. Alfonso has established his reputation as a hard worker and an asset to BSL and the city. He continues to show his commitment to his work and his street lighting family. I'm honored to present Alfonso with this recognition for his achievements in the workplace and for being a role model for all Latinos. And with that, thank you, Mr. Alfonso, for being here. It's an honor to nominate you and award you today. And today we have James. Are you here on behalf of, okay.
Excuse me.
You might want to take it up. Oh, there you go.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, James Masood, Division Manager for the Bureau of Street Lighting, Field Operations. And yeah, I want to say it was, it's a pleasure working with Alfonso Reyes. We do go back when we were both in the field. And there are a lot of things about Alfonso that you'll learn from, because he brings his experiences from his prior work with, IBEW. So, all that, he brings with him. And then, so we're working in the field together. And there's certain things that we would do as city employees that we learned from our predecessors. And he's like, why are you doing it this way? Why can't we do it this way? It's like, hey, that's a great idea. And it's much easier. And then you end up getting more work done. So he brings all that with him. And it was always a pleasure working with him in the field. And we both promoted up. And it's great to see that he's a supervisor now with the Bureau of Street Lighting. So that's it.
Thank you, James. Alfonso, do you want to say some words?
I just want to say thanks. You know, this is an experience that when I was a kid, I never imagined. You know, being a supervisor for the city of Los Angeles. You know, I remember when I was a kid and my dad got me my first actual real job. You know, through a union, and my dad passed away. You know, I wish he could see where I'm at now. And you know, a lot of Latinos, a lot of Mexicans or Hispanic people that they think it's impossible. It's not. All you got to do is work and look for your goals and don't stop until you get it. And, you know, I just want to appreciate James Masood for the recognition and all of you. And it is a pleasure. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Alfonso. Well deserved.
Thank you.
You're a clear example of hard work and ethic and work ethic. It's a success for careers, and you're in, you know, simple advice of just keep at it at your goals and don't stop. It takes you a long ways. So thank you for that, Alfonso. You are definitely a role model of hard work and within our Latino community. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And with that, thank you so much. I'm going to now turn it back over to Ms. Commissioner Vieira.
Thank you, Oda. And congratulations again, Alfonso, for your recognition today. Just want to say that those ESL classes do help. I know my father also took those, and you know, he always would refer back to them as years that were insightful and helpful. So I commend you in today's you know, honor. Congratulations. Well, moving on through the program, it gives me my delight and pleasure to recognize Mr. Nick Lopez with the Bureau of Street Services. He's been with the city for the last 38 years. He is currently a Street Services General Superintendent 2, assigned to Special Projects Division. And beginning his career in September 1983 as a maintenance laborer, Nick worked his way through the ranks as a Street Service Worker 1 and 2. He was promoted to Motor Sweeper Operator in the Resurfacing and Reconstruction Division. In 2001, Nick was promoted to Street Services Superintendent 1 and assigned to the Resurfacing and Reconstruction Division. After going back and forth from Resurfacing and Reconstruction Division to Special Projects Division, he was promoted to Superintendent 2 in the Special Projects Division in 2007. During the fiscal crisis, during COVID, with staff shortages, he used his insight and reduced a lot of leasing equipment that Streets LA was making, and that saved Streets LA just a lot of money, and ultimately it stays within the coffers of the city of Los Angeles. You know, those are what make our employees you know, critical to us because they make these important decisions. And now he's helping Streets LA recover from the crisis with his leadership, just to hire more staff to fill just the vacancies that were left after a lot of retirements. And as you can see, he is a loyal employee who has a long career with Streets LA, and it's a pleasure to acknowledge the contributions that Nick makes to Special Projects Division. His dedication and commitment to his work make him an invaluable asset to Los Angeles. Congratulations. And I think we have Stephanie, and we also have, oh, I see Mr. Jerry Carpino. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Stephanie Clements. I am honored to celebrate Nick Lopez today. I work directly and very closely with Nick since 2017, and I cannot say enough great things about Nick Lopez. Nick is really Mr. Streets LA. Maybe Keith and Nick, but Nick is really Mr. Streets LA. He's a consummate city professional, always there on time, always there at 6 a.m., always there with a sharp-looking suit and tie, always getting things done and never complaining about it. Since I've been here just for 4 years, he's been the division manager of our resurfacing division, managing over $100 million, overseeing resurfacing and slurry programs. He's been the division manager of our construction services division, overseeing sidewalk repair program, complete streets. He's overseeing now risk and liability and methods and standards. He's been helping out with COVID. We've been working directly on trying to hire since the hiring freeze has been lifted. And really nobody knows more about Streets LA than Nick. And so on behalf of Streets LA, I want to thank you for your years of service and all that you do for us. And personally, I thank you and I really value our relationship. And definitely when I see any Nick Lopez retirement papers, those are definitely going straight to the shredder. So hopefully you'll be around for a long time. And I thank you, Nick, so much. And I want to pass it over to Jerry Carapino, has also worked very closely with Nick for many, many years.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to say it's been an honor to work under Nick for about 20 years. He has been an inspiration, a personal mentor to myself, and his vast leadership and experience and knowledge has been appreciated by not only me, but many, many staff that he's mentored over the years. And one thing I really do appreciate is his calm demeanor, and that has guided us through many, many difficult situations where honestly I had no idea how we were going to get through it. So I really appreciate you, Nick, for everything that you've done and everything that you taught me over the years. Thank you.
Nick, if you wanted to say a few words, it's all yours.
Morning. I'd just like to thank Stephanie and Jerry. You know, I've had the pleasure to work here in the Bureau of Street Services for 37 years, and I don't plan on leaving yet. You know, I enjoy mentoring people, giving them advice, showing them how to do things correctly, and I enjoy serving the citizens of Los Angeles. You know, when we go out and pave a street, we see a finished product. When we go out and do sidewalk, we see a finished product. We're able to see our work completed, finished, and how it looks quality and nice. So, you know, serving the citizens is my pleasure, and I've been doing it for 37 years, and I plan to do at least 2 more. Thank you. Thank you, President Good, commissioners, and Bureau representatives.
Beautifully said. Congratulations. Thank you. And I will pass this along now to Dr. Campos.
By the way, Nick, that little 2-year comment wasn't lost on anybody. So the campaign begins. Keep Nick Lopez. Okay, sorry.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer with the Board of Public Works. My honor to bring in the last honoree for today, Oscar Jaimes with the Office of Accounting. Oscar has served with the City of Los Angeles for the past 2 years in the Board of Public Works Office of Accounting. He is currently an accountant working in the Special Funds and Projects Division, Group 1, focused on Proposition K. Oscar has a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Loyola Marymount University and also an MBA from Willamette University and a certificate in accounting from Cal State LA, my alma mater. As you can see from his studies, he was drawn to both engineering and accounting because they both deal with the same skill set, and that is attention to detail and problem solving. Ultimately, he felt that accounting was the best and most interesting and diverse of both fields. For those that are from USC Trojans, this is what you know as financial engineering, right? So this is a big major discipline that has been growing, especially at USC. So ultimately, Oscar decided accounting was more interested and diverse in both of these fields. Oscar has been a great addition to the board Public Works. He has demonstrated his willingness to take on and learn new tasks and activities, and also has prepared himself for higher level work within the accounting discipline, and has done an excellent job at supporting the functions of Proposition K. Oscar Misak was supposed to be here, and I do not see him. As soon as I see him, I will join him, but he wanted to participate. He was planning to participate. If Misak, if you're listening to me, his supervisor, if you can raise your hand so that I know who you are, I'd love to add you to the panelists. But Oscar, know that Misak was intending to join us this morning. I will pass the baton over the virtual mic to Miguel de la Peña, who is our Director of Accounting, who oversees the Office of Accounting overall. And I'll let Miguel speak a little bit about Oscar's hobbies and the interest that he has in the great works of sci-fi. And I won't spoil it for everyone, but I thought there was a really great thing to share about Oscar and how he brings that uniqueness to the table. And Oscar, thank you so much for your work. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for being part of our team, Public Works. So with that, Miguel, if you want to go ahead and say a couple of words.
Sure, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. First of all, congratulations to everyone being recognized today as part of the National Hispanic American Heritage Month. Our department is a better workplace because you're an integral part of the Public Works family. Thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity as well to briefly highlight Oscar's roles within the Board of Public Works, specifically the Office of Accounting. The accounting team is a large team, and it can be quite challenging to actually get to know everyone on a personal level. However, I'm always humbled when I get the opportunity to have conversations with members of the team and share our stories, especially when we relate at a very personal level. That's how I come to find out some of the amazing and diverse accomplishments and from each other and personal accomplishments from each team member. But at the same time, I'm also energized by the common thread that unites us, all of us here in the Department of Public Works, which is our desire to serve the community. Like Fernando mentioned, Oscar's skill set is very diverse, and it's kind of quite interesting that we're not accountants, or we're not very good at words, or very social people, at least we're perceived to be like that. But Oscar's commitment to learn, paired with his willingness to help the team advance and deliver a high level of performance, exemplify not only the Latinx community, but our department as a whole. Congratulations, Oscar, and thank you for all your contributions. Unfortunately, Misak, I don't see him, and I will actually allow or let Oscar say something about his hobby of sci-fi reader. He likes to read sci-fi, so I would not take that enjoyment from him. So thank you so much, Oscar, and thank you all.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for this honor as a first-generation American of Mexican descent. I'm honored to be in the company of such accomplished honorees. In my 2 years at the City of Los Angeles, I have learned a lot. It's great to see all the projects the city is working on from the county perspective. In terms of my hobbies, I love sci-fi just because of my because of my engineering background. I love to see how various writers depict the future. One of my favorites is Isaac Asimov, who has written the Foundation series, which is recently being turned into a TV show for Apple. So if you have a chance to read the Foundation trilogy before you watch the show, it's one of the best works in all sci-fi history. But also the Robot series, which has spawned a few movies, and the Galactic Empire series. They're all really, really great works. And Asimov is the same as some of the other great Philip K. Dick or or any of the other ones whose other books are more adaptable to movies. That's all I like to say. Again, thank you for everything. This is a great honor.
Congratulations, Oscar. Truly needed within our bureau. All the detail to work, because that's what accounting does. It really keeps us on our toes and keeps everything, afloat for us. the spine behind the Board of Public Works. Congratulations. At this time, I will turn it over to Vice President Aura Garcia for closing remarks.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Before I do the closing remarks, I just want to give a few minutes if any of our commissioners want to say anything before we close today's Latino Heritage Month. I know we say it in conjunction with National History Heritage Month as well, but I just wanted to give that, any time for either Commissioner Davis, Teresa, or President Good to say last parting words before we close today's event.
It looks like
Davis. I figured Davis.
Yeah, no, not difficult to predict. I once again want to thank both of the my colleagues, Teresa Villegas, as well as Commissioner Aura Garcia, for once again doing an outstanding job at reflecting the strengths and the contributions of the Latino heritage to the Los Angeles community. We are a city that is predominantly Latino in terms of culture. And when we in the city of Los Angeles in general, and in the Department of Public Works in particular, reflect the contributions that Latinos have given to our region, we try to identify outstanding individual contributions that employees of the city of Los Angeles have contributed. And today is no exception. We have done an outstanding job, not only in terms of the various professions that you represent, but from the very diverse experiences that you each have had, from the diaspora of the Latino world, where we have people from various Latin communities and societies who make up Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is a wonderful and dynamic and beautiful and powerful place because of individuals like you. And so it is always a pleasure and a privilege for us to have such dynamic recognitions of the Latino and Hispanic heritage. And again, I thank both Commissioner Garcia as well as Villegas for doing, once again, an outstanding job, as they have done every year that they have coordinated these efforts. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. President Good or Villegas, Commissioner Villegas?
Yeah, I'll put that hand down. I'll be quick because I know we've taken some time. I want to just hit on two quick things. One, Commissioner Villegas said the word spine, and that was really thinking about Oscar Jimenez, and then if you think about Nick Lopez, and you think about Alfonso Reyes, and you think about their stories, you think about Mr. Reyes as an immigrant coming here, working his way at a ripe age through IBEW, through the hiring halls to become a supervisor at BSL is really, that is a phenomenal immigrant story. To see Nick, who I've had the opportunity to work with, actually years ago, he may not even remember working with me, but who is such a picture of grace and grit, to be such a mentor to so many in Streets LA. And then for Oscar to be doing the work that no one in this city gets, which is accounting and public works. But for Oscar and his colleagues' work, and Miguel, hear me loud and clear, but for that work, things stop. Things stop. So spine, backbone, the real, the real marrow of the city, we just heard from, and it's a real honor to be able to celebrate y'all. And then I do also want to thank you, Teresa, Sisters in Arms. Great job. Y'all are models for all of us, and not just the Latinx community, but for all of us. And so thank you for once again doing such a great job with it.
Thank you, President Good. And thank you to everyone. Just before I close it up for today, I just want to remind them, we as a Board of Public Works, we also celebrate National Heritage Month by, this year we included a tree planting event. We just had one last week, and we'll have 2 more this coming week where we're leading on making sure that in memory of, not a memory, but in recognition that we also put a stake in this city, right? We put something that's going to be long lasting and making on behalf of our Latinos in our city. So that's all of you. So thank you. And then we also do Access in LA event, which will be October 14. And that's really to, really to help a lot of our small businesses get certified or get in the track to become certified and eventually become and get contracts as well. And we have a focus on Latino businesses this month. And so we promote and we make sure that we get Latino businesses to participate in our program. At least they get the information, and they're also part of this platform. I say that because I just want to make sure that you all know that we try to do as much as we can to recognize the Latino talent that we have within our Public Works Department. It's really important. We are now the largest community, not only in the city, but probably almost in the state. But, we get recognized a lot by our hard work and our dedication and just really those manners that we bring. And it's always goes back to our parents and how we were raised and the hard work that they instilled in us as kids. So I just want to say that has brought me here is really the hard work that my mom made sure I understood was it took to be successful. And I never go one day without thinking that I have to work and I have to do what I have to do to be successful. So it's just how I operate, I guess. So with that, I'd like to say I begin thanking each of you, each of today's honorees for the excellent work you do daily to contribute to the quality of life and well-being for more than 4 million residents throughout Los Angeles. The tireless work that you do to build and maintain the infrastructure of our city does not go unnoticed. Hence, Art, he has a huge responsibility making a yes or no decision on something that can really affect or impact or not the 4 million residents of the city. So you have an immense responsibility on your shoulders, but I know you can do it. So we're not even worried about that. This time has been difficult for everyone in so many ways, and we recognize all the additional responsibilities that you've had to take on both at work and at home. As Latinos, we rise to the challenge though. We come together to support each other and we lift each other up. As one of the 2 Latinas serving on the Board of Public Works, I'm proud to support our honorees and all the Latinos throughout the department that are doing exemplary work. It is important for us to continue celebrations like this one, a spotlight on the importance of diversifying our workplaces and creating opportunity for greater Latino representation in key leadership positions. Really important that too. Today we are the majority in our great city and almost in our state as well. Latinos can be found in almost all walks of life, whether it be engineering, politics, academia, or the entertainment industry. Now more than ever, it is crucial to shine a light on the hard work that Latinos are doing day in and day out to help this country thrive and to remain hopeful for what the future will bring. The board is honored to recognize these men and women during National Hispanic Heritage Month and will continue to spotlight more Latinos throughout the years to come. So thank you all, and with that we conclude today's presentation.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice President Garcia. Thank you, Commissioner Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis. Thank you for all of our honorees, and thank you to everyone who joined in to sing the song of our honorees. One quick piece of housekeeping is we're going to withdraw item number 2 from today's agenda. It is moot. And then we are going to take a 5-minute recess. I think everyone needs it. And we will return at 11:32 in the a.m. Thank you all so much. We'll be back.
Thank you.
Mr. President, you are now in record mode.
Terrific. Thank you, Dr. Campos. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Campos, do we have our quorum?
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, reestablishing quorum for today, 11:34 a.m. We have President Good, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioner Villegas. President Good, you do have a quorum.
All right, thank you. All right, colleagues, let's go right to item number one. Item number one is a budget increase in revised task order solicitation for TOS numbers 25.1, 25.2, 25.3. This is with Tetra Tech Inc., CDM Smith, and Corollo Engineers Inc. Stormwater Capture Parks Program. Recommending the board, one, authorize the city engineer to issue a revision of TOS number 25, task number 25.1 to Tetra Tech Inc. for pre-design and design services for the Alexandria Park, North Hollywood Park, Valley Plaza Park North, and Valley Plaza Park North projects. I think that was redundant. Of the Stormwater Capture Parks Program, increasing the budget authority from $5,602,251 to $5,862,251, which includes contingency. Two, authorize the city engineer to issue a revision of TOS number 25, TOS number 25.2 to CDM Smith Inc. for pre-design and design services for the Strathern Park North, Fernangeles Park, and David M. Gonzalez Recreation Center projects of the program, increasing the budget authority from $3,989,075 to $4,134,075, which includes contingency. And three, authorize the city engineer to issue a revision of TOS number 25, TOS number 25.3 to Corollo Engineers Inc. for pre-design and design services for the Whitsett Fields Park North and Valley Village Park projects of the program, increasing the budget authority from $2,329,526 to $2,419,526, which includes contingency. Mr. Powell, I believe you are here to present on this item. If so, please proceed.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Board Commissioners. Good morning, President Good and Bureau representatives. My name is Brian Powell. I'm here on behalf of the Bureau of Engineering's Clean Water Division, and I'm here to request a revision to task order number 25, which represents the Department of Water and Power Stormwater Capture Parks Program. But first, just to take a few steps back and provide a bit of context for our request today. Back in January of 2019, the Board of Public Works authorized the Bureau of Engineering to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Water and Power, in which the Department of Water and Power would provide up to $19.1 million in funding to the Bureau of Engineering to lead the pre-design and design of the 9 projects that make up the DWP Stormwater Capture Parks program. Now, fast forward to December of 2019, the Board of Public Works awarded task order solicitation 25.1 to Tetra Tech for $5.6 million, 25.2 to CDM Smith for $4 million, and 25.3 to Corollo Engineers for $2.3 million, for a total of $11.9 million. And that's for, again, pre-design and design services for the DWP Stormwater Capture Parks program. The 9 projects that President Good named off are all located in Council Districts 2, 6, and 7 in the East San Fernando Valley, roughly along the Central Branch Tujunga Wash, which parallels the 5 and the 170 freeways. To provide a brief explanation of the projects, they're all very similar in nature but vary in size and scope. We will be diverting and capturing stormwater out of existing storm drains and channels into existing city parks, routing that water into underground infiltration galleries so that we can replenish the San Fernando groundwater basin, and also repair the park that we impacted through construction and leave that park better than the way we found it by improving existing amenities and adding new amenities to the park. So now, as of today, where we stand with these projects is we are currently at 90% design. We anticipate wrapping up design later this year, and that will conclude the design MOA with the Department of Water and Power. However, we are currently working on drafting a implementation MOA with the Department of Water and Power, in which the Bureau will be responsible for and lead the construction management of those same 9 projects. And the first project is anticipated to be awarded through this board later next year, sometime in the summer. So kind of reeling it back to this task order, we've been at this now for about 2 years for pre-design and design, and we've used up most of the contingency, mostly due to owner and stakeholder requested design changes. Just to name a few of those changes, we've issued change orders to the consultants to perform methane gas surveys and mitigation designs for 5 sites. We've also issued a change order to the consultants to perform a programmatic watershed analysis, which analyzes all 9 projects along the tributaries to optimize the way we can capture and infiltrate stormwater. We've also issued changes to add electrical infrastructure for future installation of EV charging stations. We're adding that to 6 park sites. We've also added permeable pavement parking lots to capture the stormwater that falls within that parking lot. We've added that to 2 park sites. And for all 9 sites, we've added changes to upgrade irrigation beyond the original impact of the construction project. That was a request from Rec and Parks. And then finally, we issued a feasibility study, which would look at using existing county access roads along the county channel or the Tonga Wash, and to try to use that as a dual-use access road and greenway, which would expand the scope and usability of those roads. So due to those changes, we've mostly expended the contingency that was originally awarded to us, which is why we're here today to request that that the Bureau of Engineering be authorized to revise the task order and increase the budget contingency. And the specific increase is for $260,000 for Tetra Tech, which is task number 25.1, $145,000 for CDM Smith, task 25.2, an additional $90,000 for Carollo, 25.3. That brings the total increase to $495,000 and a total contract amount of $12.4 million. That's an increase from 11.9. Funding for this task order revision is included or provided by the original $19.1 million in the design memorandum of agreement with the Department of Water and Power. And the Department of Water and Power is aware of this increase that we're asking for today, and they preliminarily approved that. And just to touch on the business inclusion program, all 3 consultants are doing very well, with the exception of 1 category. Our anticipated participation levels for minority-owned businesses is 18%. Women business enterprise is 4%. Small business enterprise is 25%. Emerging business enterprise is 8%. Disabled veteran business enterprise is at 3%. They're all meeting or exceeding those goals, with the exception of 1 category. That's the disabled veterans business enterprise for CDM Smith at 1.5%, but we anticipate they'll be able to make that up with the remaining work. That concludes my staff report, and I'm ready to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Appreciate that presentation. Why don't we open this up? President Pro Tem Davis, why don't you kick us off with any questions you may have?
Okay, Brian, thank you so very much for your presentation on this motion and the review of what we're doing on business inclusion, because certainly as we look comprehensively at a dynamic project like this, certainly the inclusion becomes equally as important as our priority is on the environment. And speaking of the environment, it looks like we have now simply added on this provision to do the greenway piece to the project. Is that correct?
Correct. At this point, it actually hasn't been added to the scope of the project. It's actually a feasibility study to look at the feasibility of implementing this idea of a greenway, because there are a lot of factors that would come into play. And so before we make the firm decision to implement that, we want to look at the feasibility of it.
And then the cost of the feasibility study is built into the motion and the request that you're asking for today in terms of revenues for us to do the feasibility study. Is that right?
Actually, the feasibility study, the changes for that have already been issued. That's just one of the items that ate up the contingency.
I see. And could you just elaborate very briefly if you can paraphrase for me what our goal is as it relates to our desire for adding the environmental component to it, which, certainly nobody would oppose that. But I'd like to know just a little bit more about what our goal is here in terms of the environmental piece that you've discussed.
Sorry, Commissioner Davis. Which environmental piece are you specifically?
You're saying that we had a feasibility study. Is that correct?
Correct.
Tell me about what the findings were in the feasibility study.
Okay.
Have we already had it? Have we already?
The feasibility study is actually currently being performed. It hasn't been finalized yet.
I see.
Right. But specifically, the feasibility study will look at 3 parks.
Okay.
North Hollywood Park, Valley Plaza Park South, and Alexandria Park.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we're looking at these three parks is because these 3 parks are adjacent to what we call the Central Branch Tujunga Wash, which is an open county channel. The other parks are actually not adjacent to an open channel. They're adjacent to existing underground storm drains. So typically, wherever we have an open channel, there's also a county access road that accompanies that, which usually parallels the length of that. And the Department of Water and Power wanted us to look at the feasibility of converting those county access roads into something that can also be used by the public, because typically right now they're closed off just for maintenance purposes. But they wanted us to look at opening that up that could be used in a greenway or a walkway that's landscaped and nice to walk along, and try to incorporate that into the park component, because they are essentially adjacent to the park, but they're closed off. So they wanted us to look at opening that up and converting that into a greenway that can be used for more than just the purpose of maintaining the channel. So that's what the feasibility study is for. That feasibility study is not yet complete, but once that feasibility study is complete, then we'll look at it with DWP and the Department of Rec and Parks and the county, and make a decision at some point.
We did lose Dr. Davis. He did hear you, Brian, regarding your response. He wanted you to know that he did hear you before he lost the connection.
Okay.
He sent me a text. He's going to try to log back in.
All right. Well, thank you, Brian. Vice President Garcia?
Thank you, President Good. I don't actually have any questions. Brian was gracious enough to brief me, and I asked tons of questions there. So other than that, thank you, Brian, for your report. I appreciate it and look forward to getting these projects done.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you, President Good. And thank you, Mr. Powell, for your presentation today. I don't have any questions. I'm super familiar with these projects, having seen them through the Upper LA River Watershed Stakeholder Group. This is the 50% that Department of Water and Power is contributing for these projects, and so we are implementing that piece. I know that we will be doing all that is necessary for these projects and working closely with LA Sanitation as well. It's a change of practice to be able to gather all that water and infiltrate and put back into our groundwater for water supply. It's a big deal. Thank you very much. I don't have any questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Yeah, I would certainly echo that. This is, it is a ambitious and exciting project, and obviously really complex, and sort of fundamental or a bit of a pillar to what the long-term water solution for the region is going to have to be. And so everybody's participation and collaboration from obviously DWP, but Rec and Parks, our project managers of Department of Public Works, BOE, and then sanitation is really necessary and critical, and so it's impressive. One question, and I read the report, but I forgot. Is there any Measure W funding anticipated for this, or is it pretty much all DWP?
So I think Teresa just touched on it. Commissioner Villegas just touched on it, but absolutely, there is Measure W funding involved here. The plan is for DWP to commit, I think it was up to 50% of the capital funding, and then pursue Measure W for the remaining 50%, in addition to any other grant that would apply here. And I believe to date they've actually been approved by Measure W for the first 7 out of 9 projects, and they are applying for the other 2 in this next round.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Sorry I missed that, Commissioner Gates. Forgive me. But that's great. I mean, this is what we got to do. So, okay, I will take a motion. We still have quorum even without Davis, and so I'll take a motion to approve the item.
So moved.
I love it.
No matter.
Well, since Commissioner Villegas is our Measure W maven, I'm going to give her the motion. I'll take your second, Vice President Garcia. I have no further questions and certainly no objections. And so the item is adopted and approved forthwith. Thank you very much, Mr. Powell. Go forth. Get them done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, there's Davis.
Yeah, finally.
Dr. Davis was here when the motion was made.
Oh, I didn't see you. Sorry about that. Mike, you want us to do that again, or are you good?
No, I'm good. I'm for the motion. Thank you so much for answering my question.
There you go.
No problem.
Okay.
All right. All right. That brings us to item 3, folks. Item 3 is landscape maintenance agreement, California Department of Transportation, 1750 Glendale Boulevard. Recommending the board authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the landscape maintenance agreement for 1750 Glendale Boulevard with the California Department of Transportation, subject to the conditions listed in the associated report. Mr. Tangiri is with us here today, and I'm sure happy as I am to actually be looking at an item that is about increasing canopy and planting trees rather than dealing with tree removals. Good morning, Mr. Tangiri, and Ms. Sarah Walsh from Leona Walsh, representing the applicant, is with us as well. Good morning. Good morning. Wes, why don't you go ahead and tell us about the item?
Thank you, President. Good morning. Yes, it's still good morning. Wesley Tanagiri, Bureau of Engineering, Central District Office. This item before you is located as a project at 1750 Glendale Boulevard. It's a development, and there was a proposed improvement to plant trees and install irrigation system along Glendale Boulevard, which is a state highway. And normally this type of improvement wouldn't come to the Board of Public Works. However, the state Caltrans has implemented a requirement for a landscape maintenance agreement along their state highways anytime there's a city improvement. So there is transmittals 1 and 2 that are landscape agreement and a covenant agreement form, and also transmittal 3 is the plan that shows the planting of 4 new trees and tree wells and an irrigation plan that were both approved by Streets LA Landscape Group and the Urban Forestry Division. As I said, it's basically to bring this to the Board of Public Works to get the landscape maintenance agreement signed by the board. And to our knowledge, there's no controversies. This concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions, as well as the developer rep can answer questions as well.
Thank you, Mr. Tangiri. President Pro Tem Davis, you have any questions?
What's the timeline of this, Mr. Tangiri?
I believe Sarah might have more information about timeline.
So there's the process with the approval here today of the LMA that will then need to go to Caltrans and then come back to the city to be recorded by the clerk. So, and the covenant and agreement will be needed to record it at the county. I think that can happen relatively quickly, and our client is prepared to plant the trees as soon as possible. They would have preferred to plant them as much longer ago, but we're thrilled to be able to get through this process. And thank you to the Board of Engineering and Bureau of Engineering and Street Services. They've been great.
Thank you
Just
so
want
much.
to get those 4 trees in.
Yes, well, thank you so much. And as President Good has said, we always welcome shaking it up with a different perspective to our management of trees. And so we welcome these kinds of projects, and thank you for bringing it before the board. Thank you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Vice President Garcia.
Thank you, President Good. I don't have any questions. Mr. Tenjuri again briefed me, and I asked tons of questions on that. So I understand the project and look forward again to making sure that those 4 trees get planted. And I take it you guys will, I know I asked this during my briefing, but the maintenance will happen by, and maybe that is a point of clarification, but the continuous maintenance for that will be either, who will be doing the maintenance after?
The maintenance will be by the property owner.
Okay, property owner. Okay, good. Thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you. Thank you for the report. Just glad that they'll be able to plant these trees, and glad they didn't do it in the summer. It's good timing. It's, right now is good planting season. So if we can get that in by the next month, you're still in that spot to be able to plant. So perfect timing. They don't have to worry about anything about wanting to do it yesterday, because right now is the time to do it. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas.
Hello, Gloria.
Yeah, hi, Gloria.
Good morning.
President Good, I just wanted to say that we apparently Commissioner Coloza had a question about whether there were being trees removed in order to plant these new trees, and that's not the case. There were not any trees along that sidewalk, so the planters and the trees are all new as part of this project.
Thank you, Sarah. That's actually, I appreciate that, and that's helpful. I would just essentially say, thank you to Aragon for, I think doing the smart thing, but not the required thing, and planting more trees, and for sort of going through the probably seemingly crazy making, but statutorily necessary process with us to be able to plant them. I also want to thank Wes and Tanat on his team for being persistent in as we figure out a model because of Caltrans requiremts on any sort of landscape improvements like this. I know Wes and Tanat and BOE have really worked to figure out a process like this, a covenant with the actual applicant to make sure that we can fit our square in Caltrans circle in this situation. So thanks to all parties for being persistent. 4 trees is 4 trees, and we'll all drive down Glendale sometime 10 years from now. We'll see them, and we'll know that there was actually a lot of work done to get those 4 trees done. So thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Gloria, and thanks, Wes, and thanks to your team. And I'll motion to move the item forward. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I'll take President Pro Tem Davis a second. Garcia, Villegas, any questions, concerns, or epiphanies? All right, hearing none. The item is adopted forthwith. Go plant those trees.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Good to see all y'all.
Good to see you.
Bye.
All right, let's go to item number 4, folks. Item number 4 is an authority for expenditure for the County of Los Angeles. This is Bureau of Sanitation, Office of Accounting, requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $450,000 to pay for the solid waste management fee for the tonnage diverted to Waste Management El Sobrante landfill for fiscal year 2021, 2022. The landfill avoidance, but doing the necessary work team of Darshana, Bob Parler, and Dr. Romano are with us on this one. Good morning, y'all. We have 1 minute left in the morning. Please go forward.
Good morning, President Quake, Commissioner Garcia, Viegas Davis. For Executive and Representative, I'm Darshana Patel, Environmental Engineer with Bureau of Sanitation. I'm here to request for approval and execution of an authority for expenditure to pay the County of Los Angeles Department of Public Works for the waste management fee, which is $1.50 for every tons of refuse material sent out of the county. We pay this on the top of the tip fee that we pay to the waste management El Sobrante. Since we expect to send the waste management 250,600 tons through the fiscal year 21-22, the AFE is for 450,000, and funding for this AFE is through the Solid Waste Resources Fund. So thank you, and we are here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Patel. Commissioner Viegas, any questions? Oh, you're muted, Teresa.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Vice President Garcia?
No questions from me either. Thank you.
All right, and President Pro Tem Davis?
This is number 4, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Personal services contract. I have no questions on this one. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. With that, I will take a motion to approve the item.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion from Vice President Garcia, seconded by Commissioner Viegas. Any concerns, Davis?
No concerns.
All right, hearing none, the item is adopted forthwith. Thank you, three. It's good to see all of y'all. Go Dodgers, Bob. And Cowboys.
Go Dodgers, and it was really nice to see Gabe recognized today. He does a great job.
Yes, that's great. Yes, echoed. We did it. All right, item number 5, folks. Item number 5 is our specification submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids. This is in CD6. The Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant Ancillary Warehouse Facility Installation. CIP 6236, work order SZD 11366, estimated cost $4,490,600. Bid receipt date will be November 10, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve this solicitation of bids?
So move.
Thank you, Commissioner Viegas. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Any concerns, Garcia? All right, hearing none, the item is adopted forthwith, and the bids are to be advertised. Item 6, also a specification submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids. This is this project's in CD5, 7, 9, and 14. ATP Cycle 2, pedestrian and bicycle neighborhood intersection enhancements. Federal project number ATPL-5006847. Work order E1908233. Estimated cost $1,534,684. Bid receipt date will be November 3, 2021. I'll motion to approve the solicitation of bids. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Viegas. Any concerns or objections, Garcia or Davis?
No objections.
All right, hearing none. The advertisement of bids on this project is approved and adopted forthwith. And that brings us to item number 7, This is our, I believe, quarterly report back on contracts expiring within 90 days. I'm not sure who all has report backs here, Dr. Campos, but why don't you?
Absolutely. Mr. President, from the Bureau of Engineering, we have Mr. Ray Sasson. From the Bureau of Sanitation, we have Nancy Lanton. From the Bureau of Street Services, Ms. Melinda Chow. And there's nothing to report for the Bureau of Street Lighting and the Bureau of Contract Administration. I will ask those presenters to turn on their video cam, and I will spotlight them in about 30 seconds for you.
Okay, doke. There's Ms. Lanton.
There you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nancy Lanton from LA Sanitation and Environment's Contracting Unit. For this month, we do have one contract that's expiring within the next 120 days. This is the contract for USA Waste of California, DBA Waste Management. This is our receipt, processing, and reuse of green material and or horse manure from the City of LA's curbside collection program. This contract is expiring November 8th, 2021, and it will be renewed. And this item will be before the board this Friday. So you'll get additional information on the renewal on that. And that concludes my report for this month.
Thank you, Ms. Lanton. Mr. Sasson, you want to go next?
Sir, good afternoon. Ray Season from Bureau of Engineering. For this reporting period, we have a total of 9 contracts that will expire. We have CH2 and Hill, which will be archived after the expiration. We have one, the Metabolic Studio contract that was recently amended, actually yesterday. So we'll extend another year. And we have another 6 contracts for our environmental services. This is the old contract from the MBE outreach program and will be archived starting Thursday or tomorrow. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Sasson. Any questions, folks?
Yeah, Mr. Sasson, on the last 6 contracts for your engineering, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
On the last 6 contracts, each of those 6 are going to be renewed?
Actually, they will be archived. A new contract was recently approved by the Board of Public Works. I believe they're in process of final signature with Commissioner Good, if I'm not mistaken. This is for the environmental studies as well as report.
So now you present today to say that these 6 contracts are going to be terminated, yes, right? Yes. However, they have also been renewed in another motion. Is that correct?
Not necessarily renewed, but a different contract will be established. The old contract was in the MBE outreach program. The new contract will be on the business inclusion program.
Okay, and what is the distinguishing factors in the different categories that are being administered now versus then?
The only difference is we have more consultants on board with the new contract and will comply with the business inclusion program.
I see. And so in this one that we're terminating, we were not a part of the business inclusion program.
No, sir. It was part of the old program, which is the MBE outreach program.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Villegas, Garcia, any questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. And just to clarify, those contracts, Mr. Sasson, to the question President Pro Tem Davis, recall last week we authorized BOE to basically create a new on-call list with those contracts that would basically be not an extension, but just a new iteration of those on-call lists with new contracts that we've approved.
And those include the element of business inclusion for each of these new ones that we have, distinguishing them from the prior contracts. Thank you.
That was the system 11 years ago, I think it was, Mr. Sisson, that was,
Prior to 2011, sir.
yeah, prior, that's where I got the 11. Where
And so is the new term of the new contracts a 10-year contract? The new ones?
It's a
It
5-year
is?
contract, sir.
Oh, 5 years. Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. All right, thank you, Mr. Sisson. Appreciate it. Ms. Chow, always good to see you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Nice to see everyone as well. So this is Melinda Chow with the Bureau of Street Services in the Admin Division. For the Street Services Bureau, we actually have 5 contracts that are going to be expiring within the next 90 days. The first one is the contract with Alfred J.C. DeCole for Coordinated Street Furniture Program. This is the contract that actually installs and maintains the transit shelters, the bus shelters basically, and the toilets, as well as the various kiosks that are in the public right-of-way. That contract expires December 31st. We have actually released a request for proposal and is currently in negotiations with the top proposer. The city basically selected 2 top proposers, and we're currently in negotiations. So a contract will be selected from one of the 2. And we're on target to have that in place come January 1st. The next 4 contracts are actually for the maintenance of the landscape medians. They all expire October 5th. However, we are exercising different renewal options for the 4. For Green Garden, this one, which serves the Bay Harbor area, will actually be, we'll be presenting a board report to renew it for year 2. For the West Valley region, which is the contract with International Environmental Corporation, that one we have already exercised options for years 2 and 3, and that was presented to the board on September 15th. For the North Central region, served by Mariposa Landscapes, that one, we plan to exercise the options for renewal for years 2 and 3 as well, and that will be presented to the board soon. The East Valley region, which is served by Santa Group or DBA BMC Landscape Management, that one we had actually exercised the options for years 2 and 3, and it was presented to board on September 24th. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Chow. Any questions, colleagues?
Yeah, I have some questions about the contracts. These are median contracts. Is that correct, Mrs. Chow?
Yes, these are the contractors that actually serve the landscaped median islands.
Sure.
As I mentioned in previous board meetings, we also have some median islands that are unimproved. These contracts are strictly for the landscaped medians.
So how do they distinguish themselves from the unimproved ones?
The unimproved usually are not paved. They're usually smaller areas, and typically there's no landscaping in there. They're usually maybe there may be some weed growth, or sometimes bigger unimproved medians may have debris that is
So would it be fair to say that on the unimproved medians, there's deeper level of work needed and deeper skill in terms of landscaping, in terms of the various things that one who's providing a service to clean it might have to perform in an unimproved one as compared to one of the other ones that are, I guess, improved? Is that pretty accurate that, handling weeds and those kinds of things are more characteristics of the unimproved medians versus the others? Is that true?
I would say that for the unimproved, the level of work would be less than the landscaped medians, because most of the unimproved, they're really just open areas.
I got it.
They're just open areas, and it could be in any condition. And unfortunately, the Bureau does not have funding to provide maintenance of the unimproved medians.
I see.
We have gotten, there was 1 year, about 2 years ago, that we did receive one-time funding, but unfortunately, due to the fiscal constraints, the city, that budget was cut. Of course, if we can get the resources again to do it, we will be happy to do that. But in terms of the landscaped medians, like I said, there's more work involved, because there would be trees, there would be small bushes or various plants, and there's irrigation. So there would be more work involved when it comes to the landscaped portions.
So as we look at the improved ones, where there is the landscape portions that we are talking about here, to what degree could community level contracting be involved in the potential for these median contracts that you're discussing here today? I know that your report, the purpose of your report today is to tell us about those contracts that we are terminating. So having said that, what is the process for us to consider how these opportunities might be considered for community level contracting moving forward on what I will call the improved medians that you're discussing with us today?
We will have to discuss this with management, especially the Urban Forestry Division, in greater detail. There are going to be limitations as to what a smaller contractor can do, because of the immense amount of the city has a huge footprint, and we can definitely explore the option of creating contracts that cover a smaller area versus the 4 areas that we serve right now. But
as a part of our process, when you have these opportunities like you have today as you discuss it with the board, is a part of our process to consider this particular kind of opportunity, or do we just make a decision and not even include the possibility of community level contracting for such opportunities that present themselves?
we will explore that option with the Urban Forestry Division and management, and discuss it internally before we present a final report to the board. But we have noticed that, of course, the Bureau support community level contracting. However, because the work that is involved in these contracts are a little more involved than just contracting out little bits and pieces or portions of the work. Just as an example, this year we have one vendor who is a first-time contractor with the city, and I don't want to go into too much detail about the problems that we've been having with this vendor so far, but we've definitely have experienced ongoing issues where there are performance issues, and
well, here's what I want to do. I don't want to talk about the characteristic of one particular company who might be a high performer or may not be, but rather I want to look organizationally at your report in terms of how the Bureau, and I'm looking at the performance of the Bureau, not the performance of an individual vendor. So as you judge the vendor, I'm judging the Bureau. And what am I looking at? I'm looking at the potential for the Bureau to explore creativity on one hand and innovation on the other hand. Using those two tools, How has the Bureau looked at these opportunities that they present when they come to the board and they present an opportunity now that has presented itself because we are closing down these contracts? Bam, here is an opportunity. Have the bureaus looked innovatively? Have they looked creatively at how we can consider these opportunities? Or do we just conclude and do the routine thing that we've always been doing? So having said that, as you present this motion to us today, I would like to know that we will consider the possibility of executing potential innovation and creativity in the way that we look at these opportunities that present themselves when we conclude that we have put to bed some of these contracts. And so I am not at the meeting with you, but potentially some of the opportunities could be a joint partnership, not with vendors that can't perform, but perhaps with some smaller vendors that have proved that they are high performers, and potentially putting two of them together to do such work on such opportunities that have presented themselves in this motion. So that's just a glimpse at the possibilities that the Bureau could enact if they looked at innovative and creativity that they have within the Bureau or not. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope that you will, as you have suggested to me, consider this before we make a final decision about how this could potentially apply to community level contract.
Just wanted to say for the record, Streets LA did provide us with a update on community level contracting just 2 weeks ago, and they did use the landscaping of medians as an example.
Sure.
So it has been done, and we just look forward to other reports in the future.
Sure. I just thought exploring it and knowing how we move when these opportunities present themselves could be healthy for us as we look at how we include this new idea that the mayor's office has identified as a way in which we can be more inclusive as a city. So I think measuring it in our board is supportive of the vision that the leader in the city has about how this community level contracting policy can be the tool to help us reach the vision that he has as the leader.
Yeah, and I want to just emphasize that there are subcontracting opportunities that these contractors have actually subcontracted out with, but also one of the other things that makes this difficult is that these medians are required to be serviced once every 2 weeks, so that kind of adds to the complexity because they are servicing such a big area with the frequency of every 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, wherever innovation, wherever creativity leads us, it leads us. But I think it's really good to know that we have explored that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And
thank you so much.
And as I mentioned, we have requested funding for maintenance of the unimproved medians in the past, and we may try to submit that request again for fiscal year 22-23, depending on how how much funding is available. But
I think that's a great idea. It has two positive impacts. Constituents will be pleased as punch, and then secondly, it allows us to grow to help to try to achieve some of our new current goals of including some of the community level contracting small businesses in that effort. So I think that's a wonderful goal to aspire to achieve.
Right, because when it comes to the unimproved medians, the work that they're really going to be doing is more manual hand labor. So
Sure.
They may be really just picking up trash and debris as well as pulling weeds.
Yeah, I like stretching us to consider things that we've never considered before. So that's the purpose of my discussion.
Noted.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, Villegas or Garcia? Okay, and that is that's all the reports on this item, right, Dr. Campos?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Lanson, thank you, Mr. Sasson, thank you, Ms. Chow, and Dr. Campos. Does that clear the decks?
Yes, it does.
All right, hearing that, thank you, everybody. Thank you, colleagues. This meeting is officially adjourned. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, President.